check, check. Ooh, nuts. Hang on. This is what happens when you have a tiny studio, friends. Check, check, check. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're gonna do it live. Just like Bill O'Reilly. I've got that in my stack right here. I can play that whenever I want to. We're gonna do it live. But I'm gonna skip that for right now because we got some... Don't do that to me again. We'll get some real updates tonight, friends. So, let me get a sip of my drink, my beverage. Okay. All right. Wow. What a show. I mean, not only what a show do I have prepared for you, but just like looking out there, what a show. You know what I'm talking about? What a show. It's like it's a freak show. Or some people say a shit show. I don't know. It's pretty friggin' weird out there. So thanks for coming along and visiting here for a while where things are kind of normal. We're going to be normal here tonight because the world out there is like really seems kind of confused. Seems not only confused about like certain facts, but also I would say morally confused, especially the Democrats. Wow. The Democrats seem to be very, 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 very morally confused right now. I broke my charger. I'm so sad. I had an accident just before I went live and my light went, so I got to figure out a new charging system. Okay, so I got several updates here. So the first update is basically the story of You know, there's this sign. There's this sign. Let me just see. Can I pull it up? I used it. I do add an image. We call it. Okay. And then where is it? I have to find it first. Are you saying something weird? No, you're normal. Hold on. Properties for. Alright, so I gotta go to this one. I know where it is. Never mind. I know exactly where it is. Image file. Stand by 1 second, friends, and how y'all doing? Say something in the chat. If you're watching this live, I'm going to do an edit and famous last words, right? I'm going to do an edit and put it up on YouTube later. An edit of this because this is probably going to go about 90 minutes total, okay? But I'm going to pick up the pace here in just a second. Okay. And it's... I gotta do it this way. Alright. I'll just bring up the thumbnail. How about that? That'll work. So, Sungeel sign. And... I have to go to stand by, friends. I'm just setting up my shot. I know it's taken a long time. Add image. Okay. And then I'll turn off that one. Oops. Leave that one. Turn off that one. And where is the... Okay, here we go. Is that good? Alright, so the first segment, I'm just giving you a rundown of what the show is going to be right now. The first segment's going to be all about this sign. We, SMCC Americas, we currently welcome you at the front door on the first floor. And it turns out that the gals were right. The gals were heading off in one direction. I'm like, isn't this it? This seems like this should be it. We're here. Let's look at this one. And we never made it to the front door before the big, the giant fire truck showed up with because we got some protesters here. It's like, protesters? We're like, where are the protesters? I just see us. We're citizens. We're not protesters. What are you talking about, protest? It's like, I don't know. I don't know why they called us protesters. We're just citizens. They welcome us. Somebody took a picture of this and posted this. We're like, hey, if they welcome us, let's go check them out. We went to check them out, and we got, big diesel horn and police and fire trucks and... like this just in from the complete and abject overreaction department, something like that. So this is the first one. Okay, they got a sign on their door. Big deal. Somebody said that this guy I'm mad at right now, I'm angry. Let me just say I'm angry, okay? Help me through this. Mickey, one of my NVC friends or one of my yogi friends, Yogi Terry, told me the answer the other night. She said, non-attachment. Just practice non-attachment. So I guess ultimately, because I have to get my work out there for people to see in order for me to get donations. I live on donations. I don't really have a regular job anymore. I don't have any interest in a regular job because I have all these amazing skills. And there's work of protection that is not being done. There's water needs to be protected. Okay, tell me this. What's the date today? We're August 11th, 2020. When did you first hear about the Endicott battery incinerator? I just heard somebody on the call the other night. They said, and that's another thing we can get to. I don't think we're going to get to it. It depends on, do we want to do a marathon? How long you want to stick with me, friends? I'm thinking about going into, because we haven't completed going through, we only got about halfway through the Town of Union meeting. That meeting was amazing. It was some hot shizzle. And there was some misunderstandings and people, talking some hooey about other people, and it just was weird. So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about me being banned from that group. What's the group name? It's so long. It's like one of the biggest. I think it's got the prize for the longest. It's like say no to lithium ion battery recycle. It's like what? It's like, hey, I set up no burn broom. Do you want that? No burn broom open discussion. And I set up a page. I'm like, here, take it over. I don't even want it. It's like, you want to take it over, take it over. No, he just ignored me, and he created his own thing. And I guess because he's a marketing genius, he called it Say no to lithium ion battery recycling in Endicott. Oh, I'm sorry. I fell asleep there for a second. It's I'm pissed. I'm pissed off. There's 2,000 people. Maybe he paid for the clicks. Maybe those aren't 2,000 real people. If it's 2,000 real people, I want to have access to those 2,000 people. And I don't know who the F this guy thinks he is. So, Terry, what do I do about my attachment to food? My attachment to eating? My attachment to having shelter? What should I do with my attachment? Yogi Edmund. I'm trying to think what Yogi Edmund would tell me. I should know. I did intense training with the Yogi Edmund. And he'd say, relax. That's the first thing. Relax. Yogi Edmund. That's what he always says. Relax. And then what else would he say? I'm trying to remember some of the aphorisms. It's practice non-attachment. So ultimately, I have to practice non-attachment to this life, this body, this existence, this incarnation, this bag of bones. We all do, right? We all have to die. So how many times can a person suffer complete ego death in a lifetime? Because I've suffered ego death. I have more ego deaths than a cat has lives. I've had more ego deaths than a cat has lives. Just complete annihilation of any kind of story associated with your name. It's like that's my Truman Show. That's the loop, or not Truman. That's my Groundhog Day. It's like I'm in a loop. But I think we all have our issues. So where am I going with this? Do I have attachment to being in that group? Yeah, because somehow you got all the people. I created a couple of similar groups and the numbers are way down. Did you pay for the clicks? Are those real? Maybe they're not real. Maybe there's not really 1,800 people in that group. Maybe it's, out of 1,800 people, maybe, 800 of them are, from click farms in Bangladesh or something. So maybe that's not worth them. Maybe that doesn't have any worth. If they're 1,800 local people, then I want to know who the F. Where's that? I got to get that audio clip. I'm going to get an audio strike. I'm going to get a copyright strike, so I'm not going to play that. Although it's super short. Roger Daltrey. That's a hint. Who the F is this guy to try to silence me? What did I do? So the last thing I posted in that group, and it was a post about, so there was a series of posts, okay? One was a post. There's been a couple of posts, okay? The first one that popped up that I saw had the mayor's face like distorted with Photoshop, like her mouth was all twisted, and I see that used on Twitter. It's twisted into an ugly face. And it's hideous. And I don't like it. And I think it's offensive. And I think the mayor blames me for that. Because I was trying to figure out, she said, I got the clip, we can call it up in a second. This was from the Town of Union thing. I think I already did play it on my last live stream. She looked right at me. She said, "Thank you, Bill." And I'm trying to understand what's she thanking me for? Is she really thanking me? Like, does she see this whole situation as some kind of a gift for her to evolve spiritually and emotionally and compassionately? Or is she being sarcastic and she's saying, "I'm in hell and I blame you"? Boy, that sounds like another Who lyric, isn't it? It's like, "And I blame you." What was that called? The bat. No one is. Oh, Behind Blue Eyes. That's the song, Behind Blue Eyes. So, and you know what? I know that kind of hurt. I do. I felt it in my life over and over again. And this was the last post before that person, that confused person, morally confused, so yeah, I'm angry. I admit it. And I want access to those people because I have, now where was I? It seems like I was going, I have $1,000 of unmet bills this month. So when you block my access to 2,000 people, okay, there's some overlap with my groups. You are acting to hurt me. That's what we were talking about. We're talking about, people are making images of Linda Jackson and putting her in a toilet bowl. And lots of people, not lots, there's half maybe. It's split. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it's split. Some people are really reveling in it. Like, yeah. And that's the way they were over that whole Black Lives Matter thing that came up, where one mouse click got the Democratic Party chair to recommend that 2 people resign. One's not even in the party. That's how ridiculous that was. So one, and it's the difference between, we got to do a whole show about this racism thing, and it's coming up, because we're going to talk about it really soon. But basically, it's like the whole premise was that this is what somebody did. Click. And you got to resign. Somebody went like this. Somebody went, click. In this whole huge thing, it became national news. It was national news because somebody in our village did this. Click. It's freaking ridiculous. And it's the whole switch between the denotative phrase and the slogan. Okay? So people say, oh, I'm hip with the denotative phrase Black Lives Matter. Or, you know, and there's always, you know, it's the slogan. It's how it's being used as a bludgeon. It's trying to solve racism with more racism. But the whole thing between the denotative phrase and the slogan, okay? So you can't say the denotative phrase, because this whole thing, right, with those 2 people, I'm not going to say who, because it doesn't even matter, because it was so ridiculous and stupid, but I guess I want to say the mayor was one. We got to say the mayor, because this is about the mayor, okay? The mayor was one of the targets of this thing, and it was so ridiculous because she's a Republican. And this came from the Democratic, you got to resign, Democratic Party chair, because of this. Click. That's what she did. That was the crime. Click. And it was over denotative phrase. It could be denotative phrase. It said, what did it say? It said, white lives matter. What's the problem with that? Don't they matter? People say, oh, when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not saying that, you know, that no other lives matter. Oh, okay. Then, really? Then why can't I say white lives matter? Don't white lives matter? Brown lives, yellow lives, or, you know, how there's a spectrum of different hues of people. Do all of them matter? It's like, white lives matter it's a slogan that's used by racists. Oh, okay, so because a denotative phrase, like, it's like, hey, honey, I'm gonna go to the Walmart. And it's like, how could you say such a thing? It's like, yeah, what? I just said, honey, I'm gonna go to the Walmart. She goes, why do you keep talking like that? You're racist. I'm like, how is it racist? I just said, don't you say that again. What? Say what again? I just said I'm gonna go. That's a racist trope. What? If I say I'm gonna go to the market, that's a racist trope? Yes. So I can't. It's like a denotative phrase. That's truly what I'm going to do. How do I say it without saying it in a slogan? I don't want to talk in slogans. I'm not talking in slogans. I'm talking in plain English. Can't we talk in plain English? Isn't that simpler? So, anyway, that whole racism thing, we got to have a real conversation about it, okay? And I can't tell you how many people that have gone, you know, basically blocked me, unfriended me, banned me from all these different groups based on me basically saying I don't believe in race. There's no such thing as race. Because when you say that, you call them out on their own hypocrisy, and they can't stand that. They can't stand it so much that they would rather block you than engage with you. Block you rather than to confront their own hypocrisy. Block. Okay. How can we get beyond the block culture? Because we got a lot of problems going on here. We had a lot of problems before the virus came along, or whatever the hell it is. I think it's a fake. I think the whole thing is a big fake. It's a big hoax. And don't say we haven't been hoaxed before. And don't say that you trust Bill Gates as some kind of saint, as a saintly man, and not some twisted dude that has insatiable hunger, you know, for wealth and power. And I just want more. It's like the people that would invest in U-Haul. You know, U-Haul has predatory trading practices, dealing with, taking advantage of disadvantaged people. That's what U-Haul does. The U-Haul, especially if you get a U-Haul storage shed, U-Haul takes advantage of people that are already in a disadvantaged position because they get you to sign a contract with all these pages that, guess what, you're stressed out because you're moving. You got to get your stuff out fast. So you're moving out, you're trying to stuff your stuff into the thing. You're like, yeah, I'll just sign it. It's like 3 late fees at just 30 days late. 3 late fees, is that right? And threats of locking you out. It's an improper, it's not a proper subject matter for a contract is what it is. And it's during a pandemic. And what's weird is I complained to the New York Attorney General's office and they looked it over and they said, we ain't touching this. And U-Haul is an $8 billion corporation. So it makes me think, like, do we have to look at the stocks owned by the people in the New York Attorney General's office? Are they banking on the fact that U-Haul is taking advantage of poor people during a pandemic? Poor people that are stressed because they had to move out of wherever they were, and they're so stressed they couldn't even find a place to move into big enough right away. So they're stuffing their stuff into this shed. And you sign up to where the point where you agree. That's what, because it's a contract. Contracts are instruments where they meet certain legal criteria. So, like, a contract has to be mutual agreement. Both parties have to sign to the same thing. Then there is mutual benefit. Both sides have to benefit. Mutual right to remedy upon breach. All these different things. There's 4 or 5 different things. I used to be able to rattle them all off. I probably could still. But the point is that U-Haul gets disadvantaged people to go, yeah, I just need a storage shed. It's a standard contract. Okay. The law of New York is going to take care of me in case you guys are some kind of con jobs that are going to try to screw me over. I'm 60 years old. I've had lots of different mortgages and loans and, things I had to pay on every single month. I've never had 3 late fees at 30 days late. 3 late fees. And at the third one, it's like basically threats. We're going to sell your stuff. It amounts, you add up all the fees together, it amounts to something like 73% of the bill. I sent this to the New York Attorney General, and the New York Attorney General said, oop, we ain't touching this. WTF. Isn't that an easy one? Or maybe they don't have the money. You can, writing a threatening letter doesn't take any money. You don't have to have money to write a letter. You're going to allow let me just get this right, the New York State Attorney General is going to allow companies like U-Haul, this $8 billion, it's U-Haul International. They're a transnational company. They don't have any border. They don't operate within a nation state. They're transnational. They are outside of nation states' ability to rule them. And New York State, the government, is giving them a free pass. Come on in here. Take advantage of our poor people that are struggling. No worries. You're not going to get any threats from the New York Attorney General. Anyway, we're getting a little sidetracked, aren't we? So, the show tonight, I really do have stuff prepared. I'm just kind of ranting here. Let me see if anybody is engaged. Is anybody watching? Probably not. It's okay if nobody watches. We were up to 4. Looks like 4 people, maybe. Look at this. All right, got some comments. Brett Jennings. Yeah, to you too. Reporting. Hey, John. How you feeling, John? I hope you're feeling better. And I cannot believe the situation that you are in right now, that a couple of certain individuals are still walking around free. What is going on with that? We got to do a show sometime, John. We got to talk about all that stuff. All right. And I want to do it with Shauna Cole. I want you, me, and Shauna Cole to do a show. And I think she's into it. And Brett, what do you say, Brett? Are they going to let people in the building yet? Simple works better naming something? A simple works better naming system? U-Haul, family owned like Walmart. Really? I didn't know that. Okay, so let's get into the show, okay? So we got Town of Union. I think that's going to go late. We'll get back into that. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do the Sungeel welcomes us. That's what this story is. That's what's sitting in the queue. We got the Donna Lupardo letter, the brand new, hot off the wire, brand new Donna Lupardo letter coming up. And the upshot is she's digging in as always. We got a 0.00023 millimeters of movement because we got her to switch from green manufacturing to the heating process. We got her to mention the heating process. She didn't say burning, roasting, incineration, smelting, nothing like that. Nothing about the 2-stage, the afterburner, the high temperature rotary kiln. What's the other term they call it? Calcation unit. I think it's called calcation unit. It's another word. The pyrolysis unit. They got a million different names for this thing. Means high temperature burning. Oh, it's a heating process. It's like, let's keep warm. I love the heating process. I love the Sungeel heating process. It keeps me warm at night. She's basically continuing to gaslight. And I don't know how much more I want to say about me being banned, except that, God, I wish I could put on my, we got any NVC, nonviolent communication people out there? I wish I could put on my jackal hat for just a second and tell you what I think of this guy. Can I put on my jackal hat, my Yogi Swami friends, my nonviolent communication, NVC, Mickey? Are you watching? Mickey or Vera or Edmund? Or maybe we just ignore the little fucking blemish that is completely irrelevant to the world. You know, this little insignificant little speck that tries to hurt people. So, banned me, right? And I'm doing original research. I was the first one. That's what I started talking about before, right? When did you first learn about this thing? It's August now. Some people are just now still learning about it. A lot of people figured it out. A lot of people heard about it back around March or April. April, May time frame. More like April, May is when the big group came together. I've been working on this thing since September of 2019. I've been working on this thing, and I've been on my soapbox, and I've been screaming and waving my arms and making YouTube videos trying to get people's attention on this. Okay? Anyway, all right, let's get into this, because I could rant forever. How do I... Give me 1 second here. Now I got to set up the next shot. Oh, we got to get rid of you. That's actually for... let me just... I got this queued up. Let me just put this up really quick. Actually, I am going to save that for later. I'm going to save that for later. Okay. Now then... I need to get some close-up glasses or some bifocals or something. So... can turn that one off. There we go. And I got to do capture right. And I got to scale it. Scale it. Okay. And I guess I should pull this back a little bit. Oh, there we go. That works. It's not what I wanted. Okay, here we go. So, we get a drink of something. So where this story begins, I have to start here, okay? This is the beginning. So there were two... So the story was that Mayor Jackson and Cheryl Chapman... let me just stop. I'm not sure I completed what I was saying before about the whole thing about I got banned. I wrote this very moving story, my own personal story, and I was asking for, can we, you don't have to be, so to rewind, let's go back to the context where I was. So we're talking about Linda Jackson saw me at the Town of Union meeting, and she looked right at me, and she said, "Thank you, Bill." And it was a little bit chilling, because it didn't feel like that she was genuinely thanking me for something. I mean, I'm sure she could find a reason for it, that, all of these life lessons are beneficial to us, even though they can be uncomfortable. I got the feeling like she was blaming me for the pain she was in. And there's people putting images of her in toilets. And she showed up to the Town of Union. Somebody posted a note. Lots of people saying, look at how unprofessional she was. They're making fun of how she looks. Getting some power glitches. And I said, you don't have to be right or righteous to insult somebody, to make fun of how they look. In fact, I would say the truth is not helped by insults. The truth, if anything, is stained by insults. This was my last post in the group I just got banned from. And I said, can we please